flashlight.
Hmm? In front of the fireplace?
Let's do it from the fireplace.
In front of the fireplace.
I'm gonna pass that out to the video.
What up, guys?
What's up, baby?
How are you?
Good.
TW3, aka Thomas Walton III. Appleton, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Debut year 2007. I'll kind of give you a tour
Oh,
of both places.
sure.
My debut match was myself with Tan Ann as my valet manager versus Justin Dredd. And it was the complete shits. I don't know if I can say that on the video, but it was bad. All right. So, take you guys on a tour here at Wilder's Lounge. This is my office. This is where I work. This is where I do things.
I like the nice vests.
Yeah, that's our new uniform. These are our old uniforms that I'm wearing right now. But so yeah, this is kind of like my domain. You could tell I was still green. We were at a fair kind of show, and it was just horrible on my part.
What were your immediate thoughts after?
Maybe this isn't for me. As much as I thought I had excelled in the class, I thought maybe this just isn't for me. It's the kitchen right here. Wrestling's pretty much on everywhere, 24/7. So,
Dude, that's awesome.
yeah, we have wrestling on a lot. Sports and wrestling, that's what the kitchen has on. 24/7 things. Wrestling's my life.
I'm sure you're not the first rookie to have that happen.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Who would you say trained you the most? If there was any schools or individual person or anything like that?
Honestly, between Cash, Kaluch, Dylan, and Shane, I would say all of them collectively trained me. My training class was small. The guys that I trained with aren't even around anymore, really. I feel for some of the people who don't have the training of a Shane Hills, a Nick Colucci, because they beat you up. They teach you, you know what I mean? Those guys that are in the dojo of pain nowadays, they're getting great training. So are the guys at ACW Academy. Mr. Wilder there, he ain't gonna say much, but anyway, that's the owner. This is Candace. She's gonna walk away now.
Hi.
Hi, Candace.
Hi.
Hi, Candace.
Hi, Candace.
And then this is my domain as well. This is my bar. Many of my drinks have been created on this bar after hours, just creating random things that seem like they might sound good.
So it seems like when you were first starting, especially the first debut match, you had a lot of self-doubts.
Yeah.
How did you overcome that yourself?
Being 5 years old and wanting this my entire life and getting an opportunity, it's like, you're gonna do this. You're gonna stop the BS. You're gonna not doubt yourself. You're just gonna do it. This is what you want, so make it happen. It's in front of you.
What got you interested in wrestling at 5 years old, like you said? What was the catalyst to making what's now TW3?
I saw Ric Flair versus Sting, Starrcade, and I literally fell in love with it. I was just watching wrestling with my uncle, and I had never really watched wrestling, but just that match, it was just like the spectacle of it all. Ric Flair with his gorgeous white hair and Sting with his face paint. I'm like, ooh, and I was just hooked. So yeah, this is pretty much Wilder's Lounge and Tapas, and this place gets juking every day at about 5 o'clock.
Okay.
We're not open on Sundays, so Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m., and we close when we close. It could be, 10 o'clock at night on a weekday. It could be midnight. It just depends on how many people are in the bar at that point in time. So,
Many may not know, but you're related to Kirby Puckett of the Minnesota Twins. How is that directly? And do you have any stories with or about him?
So yeah, the uncle that I name in question was Kirby, that I watched wrestling with. He's my mom's baby brother. My mom's the oldest living sister of the Puckett family. So yes, Kirby is my uncle. But yeah, watching Starrcade with him, many memories with him. I used to get to go to a lot of baseball parks with him. Summers spent, with him, traveling from place to place to place. Those are my biggest memories of him. I wish that he could have seen me become this pro wrestler that I've become, because I think he'd be proud. I know Kirby's smiling down on me every time I'm in the ring, saying, "That's my nephew. He did it." So, yeah. This is pretty much where I am. When I'm not in the ring, I'm here, and I'm creating drinks. I'm developing a new menu. Oh, I love it. I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
I love
Except for the sign with WWE.
I love making new stuff because the best ideas are stupid ideas, in my opinion.
They really are.
Yeah.
I have a drink called the Glamour Girl, red wine and tequila. Now, who would ever think to put those two together? Randomly, me.
Some people, in my early years at least, remember a little stint with a group called Blood Money. Some people like Porn Stash. Do you mind filling people in on that and the group?
Blood Money was one of the dumbest things, but successful things that I think Bruno ever came up with. Him and Jason Jerry. I was essentially Jason Jerry's nephew, and I was from the Hamptons. And I had all this money, and I put this group of guys around me to surround me to protect me as I became the heavyweight champion. But we were cool. We were flashy. We went out. We partied. It was cool until it just got oversaturated, kind of like the NWO. It was just too many members. There were so many people a part of Blood Money. It got to the point where I was sick of Blood Money. I was like, just Blood Money me out. Like, I was done. Jordy Lee in his early years trying to join Blood Money, doing everything that he could to just become a part of Blood Money. He became what I was when I was Thomas Walton III, the towel boy. But yeah, like, Blood Money just became the NWO, and it was just bad. It was just horrible. So, Blood Money. So since we talked about the Glamour Girl, since that's my biggest selling drink, I'm gonna make one for you guys and I'm gonna let you try it.
So there's a story that I personally love to tell. This is my prime TW3 story about you sweet-talking a front desk attendant into opening up a water park while the person who wanted to go to the water park the most was asleep in the hotel room.
Wrestling for EWI, and there was a water park in the hotel, but it closed at 10. I could tell earlier when we got there that the front desk attendant had taken a hankering and liking to me a little bit. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna try and use this to my advantage. So show gets over, everybody's wrapping up. Some guys go to sleep and I'm like, hey man, let's see if this works. So first you take some Tres Agaves tequila. It's a sweeter tequila, so that's why I use it. I'm not gonna tell you how many ounces of it because I don't want anybody to steal my recipe. Also the same, you got Ryder Estate. My back hurts a little bit. Be really nice to relax in that pool area, you know, in the water park area. And she looks at me and she goes, you know, I'm not really supposed to do this, but you seem like a nice guy and your friends seem like nice people. I'm gonna open up for you guys, but you can't be too loud because I don't want the other guests to find out. A little bit of lime juice. Then you got some triple sec. I'd rather use Contro, but I'm out of it right now. We go ham in there. We have a great time. We don't get kicked out. And, you know, we preserve the fact that she did that for us, and we keep everything good. And TJ was pretty mad at me for it. Never woke him up. Should have woke you up.
I had to share a room with bell ringer James at night.
Oh, God.
While you guys were having a water park fest.
We had a great time. I wish you could have been a
Well,
part.
I'm happy to hear you had a great time.
And then, this is the key ingredient to the Glamour Girl. It's agave nectar. You shake it and always take with a smile. And then you pour. And then you twist. Just like that. Ladies and gentlemen, Glamour Girl.
What is the best match you feel like you've ever had?
Man, that's hard. A lot of them are going to involve Joey Avalon and Stash. Every time I wrestle with Joey, I get better because he's so much better. Like, Joey Avalon is light years ahead. His mind and the things that he comes up with and his creativity and just his character and who he is makes you better in the ring. So I feel like every match I've ever had with Joey was my best match. Stash, I feel like every match we've had has gotten better too. I've been able to teach a lot of different things inside and outside of the ring. And he's just such a legit, genuine guy who listens, and you can say something and he can piggyback off of that and the idea just comes together and it's just like magic. And then Sadis, my three with Sadis were just, everyone just built. Everyone, we climbed the ladder higher until we couldn't go anymore. I just have to say that my 3 best matches are with those 3 guys: Sadis, Avalon, and Stash. Now you try it.
Oh, sweet. I get first taste. You want to try some? Try it, even though you've had it, just because I'm going to drink the whole thing.
Yes.
Otherwise, yeah, it's really good.
That's perfection.
Quite, you don't drink alcohol.
I'm gonna try it though.
You're going to try it though, and I'm going to shoot you trying it because otherwise nobody will believe me.
That's very good.
Tell us about your son, and if he's interested in being in pro wrestling one day. Are you interested in being in wrestling? All right.
Yeah, so this is my son, Rainen. A lot of people don't know it, but I am a full-time dad. He is my heart and soul. He is the reason I do everything I do. 10 years old, literally goes to every show, sets up and tears down with the guys. He kind of does more sometimes than I see some of these guys that are in this business now do. Just watching him do that stuff and hearing the vets come to me and other guys just come to me and tell me, hey man, your son, he does a lot. Like, he really is helpful. Like, he's great. Like, that's awesome to me. It's not even just there in wrestling. It's here at my job. He washes dishes here. He flips tables. He helps any way he can. He's my everything, man. I do everything I do for him. And yeah, he wants to be a wrestler one day. He knows though that school's first, and once we go from that point, we'll get there, you know. Being an extra is cool. I wish that's something that you got to do one of these days, but you're too tall.
That's
You're too fucking tall.
I'm too tall.
You were always too tall. I always felt like if you shrunk yourself in the video.
I always try. That's why whenever I'm reffing, I'll always go like this.
Yeah, but they can tell how tall you are.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, at the end of the day, I can care less about myself for that.
Yeah.
I try and make you guys look big. Have you ever seen the movie Caddyshack?
Yes.
You remember the very end when all the explosions are going off, and there's that one judge just like this
Yep,
the whole
just
time?
like that.
That's what I always try to mimic. I always try to be the Caddyshack judge.
Nice. So on social media, you can find me on Facebook at Thomas Walton III, and that's 3 I's, I for 3. On Instagram, you can find me at TWalton12. On Twitter, you can find me Thomas Walton, 3 I's again, Roman numerals. YouTube is Thomas Walton, and then the number 3.